Please put your hands together for Nimmi Harasgama.
When I'm banging on the dashboard, my chain hits my chest. When I'm banging on the radio,
hello, I'm not very good with mics, and I don't know whether I should put it in here yet, because I've never done that before either. But don't time me yet. So it's really stressful. I've been practicing trying to get it short. Anyway.
Stop. Reset.
Thank you. Thank you. So, my mum and dad and I moved to England from Sri Lanka when I was about 4. And when we moved there, I couldn't speak a word of English. I remember watching Sound of Music and loving it, but not knowing what the fuck was going on. And it's weird because I can remember not understanding, even though I speak it so beautifully now. And I picked it up pretty quickly. We lived in an area of England up north, 100 miles from London, where when we went there, there were no brown people, black people, any kind of people except white people. It was a sea of white people. And for the longest time, I believed that I was white. I really did. It's not like that was my mirror. And until I didn't get the part of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz for the school play. And that was my oh my God moment, because I thought I was hot shit at acting at the age of 9. And I just recently won this award for the region, for an age group of 8 to 18 years old, and I won, best performer, blah, 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 and I was 9, and I was like, I'm gonna get this part of Dorothy. But I remember, I remember my mum and I, they complained when I won. Bertha, what are you doing, man? She's trying to ruin my set. She's Sri Lankan, she's not fucking doing this. Stop the timer. So, I remember when I won this award, parents complained. Other parents, because I was literally the only brown person in that competition, and they complained because they found out I had a Sri Lankan passport still, even though I had a permanent residency stamp. And I remember holding my mum's hand and looking up at these people. It was just me and her, and she turned around to them and she's like, you know one thing? She's like, you all colonized us. We speak very good English. We didn't just arrive here from some bloody rock or something. And that was it, they just shut up. And I was just like, wow, my mum is so fucking cool. But I was never like that. I could never stand up for myself the way my mother did. And so I didn't get the part of Dorothy. I didn't even get the bloody witch because they said that my colour couldn't take the green paint. So I got assistant witch from a foreign land. But I really did my best in that role, as we all do as minority actors. We do our best at those guest stars. And so years go by, and you go through 80s and 90s in England. For me, living up in Peterborough, which is like the armpit of England, it was hideous. It was very rough as an ethnic minority. And I remember when I was about 11, being spat at and having banana peel thrown at me, and being called a Paki, and trying to explain I'm not from Pakistan, I'm from Sri Lanka, because I didn't know why they were saying it. And then you do, and then it made me feel less than everybody else. And it was me, I felt ashamed, and I just hid within myself. And I remember telling my mother, don't light incense, please don't make curry during the week, because then when I go to school I'll smell of curry and then they'll hit me. So it was a whole, I was ashamed of who I was. And when I went to university, it was different. I felt empowered, as you do, because you're in London and it's multicultural, and you feel like you belong in this space and you can be who you are. And then, I got beaten up quite badly by a bunch of skinheads who had wooden slats, and I had no idea they were coming after me because I'd gone to private school. And I was like, ew, I've just done my electricity key, and I'm like, why are they shouting? Who are they shouting at? Bloody hell. And it was me. And I was, they beat me quite badly, and I felt no pain because I was so ashamed. I felt shame. And then I got pregnant years later, because my son is just 3 years old. And the minute I got pregnant, something changed. And it was like, I don't want him to feel like a second-class citizen. I don't want to be the one that allows that to happen. So I am going to not put up with this bullshit anymore. Because I just felt like he could see and hear everything. You know what I mean? And I just want him to see his mummy standing up for herself, and I just wouldn't put up with any bullshit. Like nothing, even the littlest thing, like somebody jumped in the front of the queue, I'm like, excuse me, fuck you. No. And then I remember getting on this is the one thing, I got on this bus and with my mum, and we were going home, and I was 2 weeks due for my delivery, but I gave birth a week early, and I think this was why. And I got on the bus and there was no space to sit down. There were 2 spaces. I put my mum in one space, and then there was this, now I don't do this bit very well because Arjun says nobody will understand where these people are sitting because I get confused. But so that there was a space, there was an aisle space, and then there was a lady sitting at a window, the window space. And when I went to sit down, she moved to the aisle seat and wouldn't let me sit down. So I said, excuse me, and can I sit in the window seat? And she put her bag down and she ignored me. And I was like out here, I mean, you know, I was a big Bundy, what is it? Tummy. I was a big tummy. And then this Muslim man behind her, he stood up and gave me his seat. And I sat down. And then this white kid, about 15 years old, a white boy, he got on, and she literally forced him to sit in that seat. She's like, sit down, come on, sit down. And he's like, I don't want to sit down, I've got a skateboard, I don't want to sit down. He's like, fucking sit down. And he just went. And he sat down, she pushed him into the seat, and something just snapped in me. And I just thought, I don't want my son to think that he's not good enough to sit in that fucking seat. And I've never done stuff like this before, because I'm a bit of a wimp. And when the bus stopped at my stop, I took my mother and I put her in a safe place, because it's rough, London is pretty rough. And I got back on the bus, and I turned round to everybody on the bus and I said, I just want you to know that that woman wouldn't let me sit down next to her. Not that she didn't give me her seat, she wouldn't let me sit down next to her, because she's a fucking racist. Yeah. And I felt so good. And she just started swearing at me and etc. And then the bus driver, and the whole bus was silent, and then the bus driver told her to fucking shut up, apologized to me, and then I got off the bus and I looked at my mum and I was terrified because I thought she was going to give me one thundering slap. And she looked at me and she goes, that was damn good, Baba. Bloody damn good. But I haven't finished. But then I come to, this is going to be really quick, then I come to America like a year ago, and I just hit like that brown girl panic mode. You know what I mean? And it just resorted back, and we were in Trader Joe's, which is a little posh. I didn't know that. And I'm carrying Nara, my son, and I can't do that, can I? I'll hold it in this hand. And I'm carrying Nara, my son, and he starts to vomit, like exorcist vomit everywhere. And I'm just like, I'm like, oh my God, I am brown, he's vomiting, they're all looking at me, shit. So I open my blouse, and I make him vomit in my bra, my padded bra, because I know, it's disgusting. I know, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was thinking, thank God he stopped breastfeeding at 22 months, because this bra is now too big for me because my boobs are facing south, and all the puke can now fit in here. This is what's going through my head. And Arjunan is like, babe, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's okay, nobody can see the vomit now. And that was my brown girl panic. And I'm still in that a little bit here. But that's it, I've got no end to my story.
Give it up for Nimmi. Brown girl panic.
Well done.